Welcome to the Kickstart tutorial. In this tutorial you're going to learn how to make a basic island, and in doing so you will learn a lot of the basic features in Vue 8. First of all, I'm going to choose an atmosphere. Let's go to atmosphere and load an atmosphere. There are many atmospheres in Vue 8. And I'm just going to choose this one here called Cold Spring, and as you can see it gives you a brief description about what the sky will look like. Okay, now I've selected that, I'm going to click on the ground layer and I'm going to texture the ground layer by going to this little texture icon here, and I'm going to choose sand flat. And when I make the island soon, I'm also going to make the island sand. The next step is I'm going to just hold down this button for standard height filled terrain, and I'm just going to use this default terrain size of 256 by 256 pixels. Right, now I'm in the editor. What I'm going to do is just briefly show you how you can basically shape your terrain. So one of the first things I'm going to do is just clip the bottom of the terrain so we don't get this square looking island. There are some brand new tools in Vue 8 with this Vue 8 standard version, and these are the sculpting tools. And with the sculpting tools you can make canyons, overhangs, and you have a lot more scope for designing whatever you like. What I'm going to do, I'm choosing the raise tool, and I'm just going to invert this, and what this means is I should be able to subtract part of the terrain. I'm just going to make a little bay in here, like so. Also on the effect panel you can choose how erosion occurs, and you have 8 different options here, and you also have global effects. You have 12 options, and you can decide to use a brush and use these effects on your terrain. Okay, let's say you're happy with the island like that. I'm just going to press OK, and now the changes will take place out here in the viewport. As you can see, the top view, we've got a nice little bay in there. I'm just going to click here on main camera view. Alright. And you can see a little preview of what we've made. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to rotate the terrain by using the Cartesian coordinates. I've pressed once on the terrain here. You can see there's Y, Z and X axis. I'm going to press the rotate tool, and that is how you would rotate the camera. But if I click on the terrain, I'm just going to rotate the terrain towards the camera so the bay is facing the camera. Just going to lock that so I cannot rotate it anymore. Now by selecting the camera, I'm just going to pull the camera back slightly. Alright, as you can see in the side view here, the terrain is floating in the air. There's a shadow here. So let's drop this terrain down using the drop tool. And here's a drop tool down here, and the terrain is dropped down. I'm just going to put this terrain slightly further into underneath the ground level. Now what I'm going to do is texture this terrain, and let's load a material for this terrain. As I said, I'm just going to choose the same sort of terrain, sand flat. We could change it. wavy sand. Alright. Okay, the next step is adding some water. So you have a water, cloud and ground plane here. Clicking once, you get the water plane. And now I've got water in my scene. Let's preview that. Alright. It's not looking too bad. The next thing I'd like to do is add 2 palm trees. So what I'm going to do is going to hold down, right click and load plant species. I'm going to go to trees and actually I'll add the coconut tree and press OK. Alright, our coconut tree is very large, so I'm just going to scale this down and drag this coconut tree onto the island. What I'm now going to do is copy the coconut tree, or duplicate, Command D if you're on an Apple, and I should have 2 in the same place. That's right. Now I'm just going to rotate this coconut tree using the top view and the rotation tool, so we've got a random variation, more variation in with random rotation. Alright. The next thing we're going to do is just animate the camera and have the camera moving up towards the coconut tree. So I'm going to click on the animation wizard or show timeline icon. I'm just going to left click, close that. We'll get a timeline come up down the bottom. I'm going to click on main camera because I want to animate the main camera. Just going to drag time through to about 3 seconds. Then simply grab our camera and move our camera towards the tree. In the next tutorials we will show you how to manually create an animation and also use the animation wizard to make slightly more interesting animations. Let's preview this in the main camera view. Alright. And let's also render this in preview quality. Again, you can tweak the atmosphere by choosing another atmosphere that suits you. You can change the material on the island. You can change the water. You can decide to use an animated water. And you also have post-render options here that you can tweak to your heart's desire. Okay, that was a basic tutorial. In this tutorial I showed you how to shape a basic height filled terrain, add vegetation, change your atmosphere, add water, use the Cartesian coordinates, and do a basic camera animation.